Chapter 21: Meeting Old Friends in Foreign Lands. For a moment, Klein thought he had traveled back in time, but the elegant gas lamps, framed by the brass grates, and the silver-encased tin in which old Neil held his hand-ground coffee brought reality home. Lord Russell the Great is a fellow traveler. He records secrets in simplified Chinese, which does not exist in this world. With an indescribable feeling of meeting someone from another country, Klein flicked through the 3 pages in her hand. On the 18th of November, it was a miracle, a whimsical experiment, and a random mistake that I found a poor fellow trapped in the storm, lost in the depths of darkness, who could only get a little closer to the real world at the full moon of each month, but still could not convey his cry. He was lucky. He met me, the protagonist of this era. After writing the above paragraph, I read it again, and suddenly I felt a little sorry, even if it was in Chinese characters. I unconsciously brought a strong translation cavity, and the past memory was really like a dream. On the 1st of January 1184, at the Grand New Year's party, Madame Flournoy was a beautiful creature. On January 2nd, my gentlemen on the Foreign Affairs Committee are donkeys. On January 3rd, the first choice was too hasty, and now it seems that the apprentice, the soothteller, the thief, are all better, but unfortunately, there is no way to go back. January 4th, why are my children so stupid? I've told you 1,000 times, don't let the magic wand fool you. No, the magic wand may be fooled themselves. The key to potions is not mastery, it's digestion, not digging, acting. And the name of the potion is not only the central symbol, but also the concrete image, but also the key of digestion. On the 22nd of September, an alliance is being formed against me, from Fusak in the north, Rune in the east, to Feniport in the south. And my enemies are finally coming together. But I am not afraid, and I will tell them with facts, that the difference in arms and knowledge is not made up by numbers and the lower order, and that my men are not without, and the higher. Oh, have they forgotten who I am? On the 23rd of September, I lost contact with the ship that was searching for the land of the gods. It is time for me to think of inventing wireless telegraphy, which I hope will not be affected by the storm. On the 24th of September, Miss Ithaca was more attractive than Madame Flournoy. Perhaps I was just missing my youth. Because it is a copy of the copy, based on the complexity of Chinese characters, the volume of each word is greatly enlarged. So there is not much content on each page, and even in order to preserve and study, the back is blank. But even so, Klein still saw the excitement, especially the description of the key to the magic potion by Russell the Great, but also let him find the solution idea, the ecstasy of possessing a priceless secret. Maybe this is the light that will guide my path to greatness. Well, the 3 pages are diaries from different periods, and you can see that Russell the Great had a habit of writing only at the beginning of the year, and the 2 in November and September are not yet able to tell which year they belong to. Who is that poor fellow he found? What exactly does digestion and acting mean? Where is God's forsaken land? Questions and surprises filled Klein's mind, making him want to immediately collect the diaries of Russell the Great and read them from beginning to Klein? Just then, old Neil across the street, puzzled, spoke. Klein woke up and smiled. It thought I would be the special one, trying to decipher and interpret. What a young man. Old Neil nodded. I used to think I was the special one too. Klein flipped through the 3 pages in hand, made sure she hadn't missed anything, handed them back, and asked, as if casually, Rethy's all we have. I want to see more of Rosal's diary. Ya thought there would be a lot. Old Neil rubbed the manuscript, wrinkling deeply and sneering. There are not many extraordinary and mysterious events in themselves every year. Mainly the extraordinary species that gradually die out in our northern continent. Without them, there are no more potions. So there are fewer and fewer extraordinary people. Over the centuries, dragons and giants and elves have become records in books. Even the sea people are no longer near the sea. Hearing this, Klein suddenly remembered a joke and laughed. I think it's time to start a society for the protection of dragons and giants. It took old Neil a long time to figure out what it meant, and when he did, he tapped the table and laughed rather ungently. Ha, Klein, you are a humorous person. This is our rune tradition. Young people cannot go wrong with humor. I don't think it's too narrow. How can it only be dragons and giants? It should be called the Society for the Protection of Fantastic Animals. No. How could you forget those poor plants? Klein shook her head. At this point, he and old Neil looked at each other and said in unison, the Society for the Protection of Magical Creatures. Voice just fell. To people tacit understanding and smile. Just the unfamiliar atmosphere disappeared a lot. There are fewer and fewer interesting young people like you. Where was I? Old Neil's face wrinkled with a smile. I think of it. There are not many extraordinary and mysterious events involved each year. And the idiots who worship Emperor Russell are a minority within a minority. And we have got 3 manuscripts, which is very good. Well, other cathedrals or parishes should have. He whispered something, took the note Klein had laid on the table, glanced at it, and said, Is it a pistol bullet, or a rifle bullet, or a steam gun bullet? A revolver. Klein responded as a matter of fact. Okay, I'll get it out. Well, do you have an underarm gun bag? As a gentleman, you can't go out in public with your waist bulging from the waist down. Old Neil made a joke that every man knows. Oh, no. Do I need to go to the captain and write it up? Klein smiled in concert. Old Neil stood up and said, No, just keep a record of it. It's a companion item. Repeat after me, companion item. You were a teacher before? Klein asked with a laugh. Spent some time at the church's Sunday school and free school. Old Neil flipped the note, took out the key from the drawer, and opened the iron door to the back room. Extraordinary people don't feel so different from ordinary people. Klein muttered silently as she turned her eyes to the 3 pages of her diary on the table. Russell the Great did engage in the realm of the occult. His diary is worth a fortune. For others, it is just a piece of waste paper. Do not know when to decipher. For me, that is the treasure. Don't know where the rest of the diary is. Gotta find a way to find more. Klein's mind fluctuates, unable to calm down, until old Neil emerges from the inner room and closes the iron door. 10 rounds of hunting bullets, 30 pistol bullets, a cowhide underarm bag, a badge from the 7th Special Operations Unit. You count them, you try them, and you sign your name in the record book. Old Neil put his belongings on the table. The pistol cartridge and paper boxes, neatly arranged in 3 layers, were as yellow and slender as the bullets in Klein's house. The hunting bullet is stored in a small iron box. The shape and normal pistol bullets are the same, but the appearance is silver and white. A close look has a complex, dazzling pattern, and the bottom is even engraved with a small sacred emblem of stars on black ground red half moon. The leather gun bag is solid to the touch, the strap is buckled, and next to it, the half palm badge is on an iron base, with the words Ahoa County Police Department and Special Operations Unit 7 inches set in silver, and they are wound into near-closed circles around the logo to swords cross the crown. Too bad it's not a watchman's badge. Klein said this partly with emotion and partly with tentativeness. Neil Sr. smiled and only urged Klein to try the underarm gun bag. Taking off her coat, Klein had a hard time tucking her gun bag into place, snugly under her left arm. Not bad. He didn't take it off. He just put it on. Old Neil looked it over and nodded with satisfaction. It fits perfectly. My eye is still right. After collecting the other items in her pocket and signing the notebook, Klein had a few more small talk with Neil Sr. Before leaving, halfway there, he was suddenly annoyed and slapped his forehead. Forgot to ask about any more sequences related to potions. Thanks to Russell the Great's diary, he still does not know what is the sequence beginning of the complete pathway that the Church of the Night Goddess possesses. That is, sequence 9. I think Roseanne mentioned something about the sleepless. As Klein ambled toward the stairs, a figure pedaled down. He was wearing tight pants for ease of movement, a white shirt that had not been tucked in. There was an obvious poet romantic quality. It was the dark-haired green eyes of the police officer who had searched Klein's house before. Just two people had met upstairs, but did not speak. "Good afternoon," smiled the poet-like young watchman. "Good afternoon. I don't think I need to introduce myself?" Klein was humorous. "No, I'm very impressed." The young watchman extended his right hand and said, "Leonard Mitchell, Sequence 8's Midnight Poet." Sequence 8, what a poet. Klein gave him a gentle handshake and asked with a smile, "Impress it with me." Leonard Mitchell, with dark green eyes and a shallow smile, replied, "Y'all have something special about you." Klein, forcing a smile, said, "I don't think so myself. The fact that you're still alive after something like that, and you didn't have our protection in the first place, is special enough." Leonard pointed ahead. "I have to replace the captain. See you tomorrow." "See you tomorrow." Klein sidles out of the way. Wait till he disappears at the end of the stairs. Leonard Mitchell turned suddenly, stared at the yellow light and the slate floor, and whispered into the air, "Do you see what?" Sure enough, there was nothing special about him.